What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. And today we're going to be talking about a concept of proactivity in life, right? And I've sort of deemed this presentation be the author, not the reader, right? And I'm going to talk about some of the secrets to writing your own story and kind of speak to that old adage of you should be the author of your own story, right? Pen is mightier than the sword, all these sort of sayings, right? So I'm going to explain sort of the importance of being an author and kind of what an author is versus a reader and how you can kind of see and identify these two different types of people in life. And then, yeah, like I said, just exploring why it's so important to be an author and how to be one of your own story. So, with that being said, I kind of shift the analogy a little bit from author and reader to prey and the hunter, a little bit of a different relationship, obviously. But in nature, I always envision the prey as sort of having a victim mindset, right? They are the victim, they are the prey when it comes to nature, and they're reactive, right? They react out of fear, right? They're hearing or they travel in packs or they're fear oriented, right? The things that they do in nature and how they go about their lives are basically in reaction to whatever is happening around them, typically due to the hunter, right? But it could also be to just the environment in general. Whereas the hunter, right? These hunters have intense accountability, right? And this might get a little strange, right, in terms of the analogy, and it does break down at a certain point, but the hunter is proactive, right? It's action oriented. The hunters in nature do not operate out of a, oh, well, what if this, or we got to watch out for X, Y, and Z. No, right? They take action and they take that action in order to survive. And if they don't get a hunt, that is on them. It is because the action they taken isn't well enough. They're not good enough of a hunter. They need to improve their skills, gain more experiences. I think a lot of times I was just watching one of these kind of generic Earth documentaries about, and there was a part of an episode where there was a pack of lionesses, right? Female lions, they're the hunters within a pride, and they were struggling whatsoever to basically find food, right? So they were literally starving. So that is the most intense accountability where, well, the only solution is to be better, right? You have to be better, be better, be better. Doesn't matter if there's a full moon and the prey can see you easier. Doesn't matter if maybe you're a veteran hunter and you're traveling with some rookie hunters and they keep fucking it up. All of that shit is irrelevant, right? You take the action, you're proactive, and the times when those things fail, you are holding yourself to the highest standard and always looking to sharpen your blade and improve, right? So there's kind of these two types of people, the prey and the hunter. And I think it kind of goes without saying of how I've sort of introduced this topic. You want to be the hunter in life. You want to be proactive. You don't want to be operating in this world from a mindset of fear, right? And reacting to life and not taking any accountability from your actions. Because the moment you do that, while it does feel easier, you're quite literally relinquishing all of the control within your life. The only way you're actually going to take care of your life is if you become the hunter. And this is why. The default setting is what I've kind of deemed this mind prison, okay? And essentially, if you don't choose for yourself, the universe is going to choose for you. And I guarantee you, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to like what gets chosen for you. Maybe just for the simple fact that you didn't choose it. You wanted XYZ, but then you got this instead. You wanted silver, you got gold. Like, not the greatest analogy because silver and gold, obviously, both are valuable, but That act of not being able to actually choose and not having that sense of control in your life can send a person spiraling and feel like they're trapped. And an important distinction between having a victim mindset and then just being intensely accountable to yourself is reframing life as not happening to you, it's happening for you. They're not problems, they're opportunities, right? And it's something that you've probably heard already, but having that simple shift when you approach these different things that will inevitably come up, you feel very empowered. Now, when a challenge comes up, it's not woe is me, it's not a defeatist attitude, it's not cowering from it, it's rising up and almost getting a little bit excited. Excited that there's a challenge, excited that there's a bit of a struggle, excited that you now have a chance to prove your strength. That's the difference, right? A hunter understands, an author understands that life is happening for you. The thing that happened that's bad or even that's good is happening for you to develop you as a person, as a character. And it's up to you to be proactive and have that mindset and have that accountability to actually do something about it. That's the other part that separates this, right? That's where the control comes in, is actually analyzing something and then taking the action to correct it or better it or manipulate it in whatever way that you actually want to achieve your desired outcome. And then this last point I have here is controlling what you can, endure what you can't. There are going to be a handful of things that, no matter the intense accountability you have and the action you take, it's not actually in your control when it comes to just the reality of the situation, whatever it may be. There's many external factors happening, and it doesn't matter if you're boom, 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 trying your best, right? Kind of like that example I had with the being a veteran hunter in a pack of rookies, right? Well, what can you control? You can control your own efforts, right? Making sure you're at the top of your game. You can control teaching and mentoring the rookie hunters to raise their baseline skill to improve the hunt, right? And then you obviously other things that you can control, but the weather being off, right? I mentioned like the full moon thing. There's always going to be things in these environments and that are within or at least just a part of what you're trying to obtain that are just going to be influencing against you. You have to endure that. Again, it's not happening to you, so stop complaining, just keep doing. And if you haven't been doing, you need to start doing. You need to be in motion. That is how you get out of this mind prison, out of this victim mentality. That's how you stop being prey and become a hunter. You have to pick up the pen. This is where the author comes up. This is where we talk about this old adage of what an author is. And authors are a rare breed, funny enough, even though everybody not only has the capability, but really has the duty to be an author. It's your life. Write it. Allowing somebody else or nobody else to write it for you and tell your story, that's fucking bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. And there should be a fire inside you, a rage, even picturing that happening at some point of like, who the fuck else is gonna tell my story, write my trials and tribulations other than me? Other people could do it, but they'll never do it as good as I can do it, as well as I can do it. So pick up the pen, because people who do that and take that accountability for things that are happening in their life for them, that's when you get to actually write the story. But if you sit back in the victim mentality and just you're so reactive based, well, you're the side character, just letting the plot push you along until it inevitably kills you off for a little bit of drama. And accountability is stress inducing, but managing that stress and then not shying away from accountability. And again, realizing these things as opportunities to grow, these challenges to fuel your excitement and curiosity, and again, put you to the test. That is going to be one of your most powerful weapons. Pen mightier than the sword, right? So every protagonist takes responsibility for the plot, right? Every author takes responsibility for their story. That's why it's their story. Because you take responsibility for what's happening in it. You take responsibility to what happens for you. That responsibility and accountability are the foundational characteristics of what make up an author, what make up a hunter. And it's the two things that every single prey and reader avoids. Just so we're clear, this is not a lecture about not being a reader, right? Read books. And I'll get into that probably in some future videos. But stay with me in the analogy here. Another very important part here is to destroy stagnation. And I won't get too off topic about this. This really could be its own video in itself, but speed is king. I'm going to draw a fine line here, right? Because there's a handful of people out there, maybe even some of you watching this video, who believe they are hunters, but in here they are still prey. In here they are still readers. In reality, they have not picked up the pen, but they still go around calling themselves an author. This second point is super important. Patience is reserved for those who are in motion. I think the idea of patience is a virtue, good things come to those who wait. People misinterpret that for not having to take action, or they misinterpret isn't necessarily the word, but they do use it as a crutch. I'm being patient, and the universe will provide, luck will find me. Manifesting this, right? But you're not taking the action. You're not proving anything. You're not embracing the challenge. You're not being proactive. You're just hoping, right? And hope without action is not belief. It's just hope. It's a thought, a dream. But that's not reality because you're not taking the steps for reality. So when people say patience is a virtue, yeah, it is. And patience is an essential characteristic to have in life, especially when you go down these certain paths of really trying to achieve something great or just on a fundamental level better yourself. But it's only reserved if you're actually taking the action, if you're actually putting one foot in front of the other, right? That action is what separates the fraud hunters from the real fucking deal. So check in with yourself on that because I've definitely been a victim of that victim mindset, right? Of kind of having the idea like, yeah, I need to do this, I need to be more accountable, blah, 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 blah. Maybe even being accountable for my actions. That was my fault, right? Beating yourself up a little, being your harshest critic, right? But then not actually moving to fix those things. Dude, what the fuck are you doing? By not taking the action, you're just stagnant. You have to get rid of stagnation. And one thing here to prevent this is don't plan for the outcomes, plan for the action. The action is the key, right? I think people get so caught up, like I said, in, oh, that's my fault, I need to do this. Right? And they think about the outcome, oh, I need to be this person and this is what I should be doing next time. But then when the moment comes, the alarm clock goes off or that situation comes up again, they fucking shy away from it. And then they do it again, and then they do it again and do it again. But it's okay. I took accountability. Yeah, but you haven't fulfilled your responsibility. It's great that you're being accountable and you're not playing the blame game. That's half of it. But not taking the action, you're not going to move any further than the prey. You're not going to move any further than the reader. You're no closer to picking up that pen. It's one swoop action. Don't focus on the outcome. Don't focus on the end game. Just understand the vital importance of taking action and put it at the highest priority, right? That's what you plan for. That's what you prepare for, taking the action, right? Gain the experience and then adapt, right? But do not let these hypotheticals come in your brain and stop you from moving forward or just moving in general, right? Because the moment you stop gaining experiences, these things will creep in. And one of the best ways to do that, and I'll kind of leave it off here, and it's kind of a fundamental aspect of the beginning stages, I think, of becoming an author, which is something I started realizing in myself really when I made the first video here. But even maybe a little before that, with simple things, right? Certain habits I picked up in my life, things I said I wanted to do but wasn't doing. I wasn't even taking accountability. And then I kind of got into that middle phase. And getting out of that middle phase of analysis paralysis and whatever, becoming an info junkie and just not taking the action, which again can be in its own video in itself, but to get out of that, this philosophy, forgiveness, not permission. Everybody's so scared, even of themselves, of what, oh, I don't want to change who I am, and what will this person think, and what will this person think, and a lot of this fear of like not taking the action, I think people view it as, oh, but that person's gonna judge me X, Y, Z, but in their mind, they're waiting for those people to give them permission because those fears would dispel if that person came to you and said, dude, actually, that's a really good idea. You should start that fucking business. Or your mom comes to you and says, actually, that's amazing. Like, yes, you should quit your job. Or that girl you like comes up to you, but whatever the fuck it is, you're waiting for them to come over and say the thing that you want them to say, give you permission to do the thing, right? Verbalize that if you did this thing that you think is risky, I will still accept you. Fuck that. Take the action, ask for forgiveness later. Oh, but I might, hurt that person, or I might distance myself from my friends, or they might not like what I have to say. I might rub this person the wrong way. So you never do it. I haven't gotten permission, right? Subconsciously, that's what you're saying. I haven't gotten permission to pick up the pen yet and start writing everything. I got to check with him first, or I got to see what my wife thinks, or I got to. Come on, bro. It's your fucking book. It's your fucking story. Pick up the fucking pen. I don't know why I'm using this, getting so into it with the props and shit, but fear and insecurity and all these things that paralyze the spectators, the readers, right? These emotions are they plant their fucking roots into these people. And these people never move. They never progress. They never evolve. They never do the thing that they want to do. They never write their own story. Nobody tells you how to live your life. You don't need permission. Permission from who? You need to give yourself permission because that's whose story you're writing about. And then you take the action. These external opinions and validation and he said, she might, maybe, all of these hypothetical other people bullshit means nothing when it comes to your story. So stop prioritizing other people above yourself. What the fuck do you think? Pick up the pen and let us know. If you guys like content like this, drop me a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next video. Deuces.